Conclusion inevitable.
It was a jump to conclusions, Matt.
My conclusion was that this idea was not a practical deterrent.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
In conclusion.
Hello there, folks! Welcome back to In Conclusion, the only movie podcast that's just kind of a disappointing retread of the first episode. I'm Dan O'Keefe, and joining me as always is Anna Otto. Anna, actually, we are not a disappointing retread of our first episode.
Yeah,
our first episode is not very
with
good.
time.
People keep listening to it because they're like, oh, all the episodes are numbered. You have to start with the first one. Please stop listening to that episode. Start with, like, High School Musical. That's when it started getting good. That's when we started figuring out what to do.
I always start in the middle of a podcast and then go back to the beginning if I decide I like it. Or I cut them some slack because it's their first episode.
I always start with basically whatever the newest thing is, because I don't listen to narrative podcasts. I listen to people talking about stuff. So I'm like, I don't need any lore or backstory here. But then my favorite podcast, L.A. Meekly, I went back and I listened to their first episode after like 4 years of listening to them, and I'm like, they sound like newborn babies.
Yep.
They sound like tiny children. They're so quiet.
Yep.
When did they grow?
One episode that my friends, oh my god, I don't know these people, that somebody I like to listen to does. And she literally says at the beginning of the first few episodes, she's like, these are bad. They are not a sign of what is to come. We learn.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make it through these episodes, I promise you'll like the rest. And she was right.
At least they have that disclaimer. That's good.
Yeah.
But how are you, Anna?
I'm good. I'm tired. Oh shoot, so I got in trouble at work for saying my opinion on the Home Alone movies as well as my opinion on the Christmas Vacation movies, and it started a brawl practically. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, that my coworkers were threatening to take to HR that I said that Christmas Vacation was only okay and that I thought Home Alone was fine.
Wow.
So
you have some very testy coworkers when it
they
comes
just
to
love
movie
Christmas.
opinions.
They just love Christmas.
Yeah, I love Christmas too, but like, I can acknowledge, like, you're not even saying they're bad. You're saying they're fine.
I think it's the tone. They didn't like my tone.
Mm.
They had their pitchforks out, Dan.
Okay.
Oh, it was rough.
You sound like you work in a very threatening working environment.
Not actually. I love it there. They just hate my... Unless we're talking about Christmas movies, I guess. Oh, yeah. So I thought of you because, like I said, pitchforks were out, especially when I dropped the bomb that kind of liked this movie better than the first one.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. We'll get into it. There are parts of this that I like more than the first one.
Yeah.
And then there's a big section that I just don't care about.
Yeah, there's no spiders. That's always a plus for me.
You don't do... But you like Spider-Man.
Yeah. That is correct.
He's mostly Spider.
I would argue that he's mostly child because Peter Parker's like 16. But,
You like children?
no, I just liked Peter Parker when I was a child. And Tom Holland's
So you
pretty
don't
cute.
like Peter Parker now?
I like Tom Holland. He's an adult.
Did you like Tom Holland in Civil War? Let me corner you. I need to get this. I need this
I'm
win.
a fake fan, and I've never seen that movie.
Okay, it's fine.
Wait, we didn't talk about that one, did we? No.
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie. I had to make sure. Because sometimes, don't tell my fiance, the Marvel movies kind of blur for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all kind of get, I'm so weary after a while.
We've talked about a lot of them. Honestly, there are like, out of the 19 that came out before Endgame, like 4 that are truly memorable.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think. I've seen all the Spider-Man Tom Holland movies, and I really liked all of those. Especially the newest one was Phenom.
Disagree.
Lest we forget, Oh.
Yeah.
Good thing we're
I know.
not talking
That's my
about
hot
those
take.
today.
That's my hot take. The last one, preening.
I thought it was good. I loved Across the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales
That
one.
was really good.
That was so good. Cliffhanger had me gobsmacked.
Punching the seats.
Yeah.
Good thing we're talking about this on our Home Alone 2 episode.
You know what? Sometimes that's just how it be, okay?
It is. It is also, when we release this, it will be, if I do this correctly, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So,
Oh, boy.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks
Happy
for
crisis.
listening. It's Chrysler.
Yeah.
If you listen, thanks. You're our Christmas present this year. Mm-hmm. But you could also give us actual Christmas presents in the form of money on Patreon at patreon.com/inconclusion. Or
Amen.
get your friends to listen. That's my pitch. The movie that we're talking about today is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Lost in a pre-9/11, post-1980s New York.
Okay, pause for 1 second. I heard that some places had gotten rid of the scene with Donald Trump, but it was in the Disney Plus one.
It was
Is
in
that
the
just a
Disney Plus
rumor?
version. It was cut out in Canadian TV airings.
Oh, crazy.
But apparently it had been cut out prior to him running for president, just to compress for time.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I'm not trying to get into politics or anything. It's just a cameo, like, I don't know.
Right?
That, I don't
It'd
know.
be much cooler if it was Nixon, but...
Oh my lord. No, I don't know. That's just what I wanted to know, if that was a rumor I made up or what, because I turned it on and I was watching. I was like, oh, never mind. I guess that's not true. There he is. Trump.
There he is.
Jump scare, if you will.
As of today, disqualified from the ballot in Colorado. That's Politics Corner.
Oh, Lord.
I keep threatening people to start a politics podcast to get more insufferable.
Oh, God. Don't put me on. I will not know what I'm talking about.
If there's one thing the world needs more of, it is unqualified white guys sprouting their opinions on politics. I'm already
Absolutely.
not helping the world with this podcast. How can I make it worse?
We're helping the world with our opinions. And they're not about politics.
That's
Most
true.
of the time.
Most of the time. But Home Alone 2, directed once again by Chris Columbus, written again by John Hughes, once again starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, introducing Tim Curry, Brenda Fricker.
Introducing. Pause.
Well, not introducing,
Just, like, to
introducing
the
into the
series?
Home Alone universe.
Okay, thank God. I had a heart attack for a second. I
No,
was flabbergasted.
Rocky Horror would be introducing Tim
That's
Curry.
why I was so confused. I was like, how you doing? Because it came out before this, too.
Yes, and Catherine O'Hara. Once again, edited by future director of the Scooby-Doo movies, Raja Gosnell. With a budget of $28 million, it made $359 million at the box office. It was released on November 20th, 1992, 2 years after the first Home Alone movie. And on Rotten
2
Tomatoes...
years? Holy crap.
Only 2 years. It has a 35% approval rating.
I have a question.
Yes.
When did this movie come out in relation to Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice was in the 80s.
Shut up, really?
Beetlejuice came out in 1988. This came out 4 years
Oh,
after.
shit. Never mind.
What, did you think that Beetlejuice stole from this?
No, because Catherine O'Hara's in that movie, too, isn't she?
Yes.
I thought she had the same haircut, but I think I'm misremembering. Or she might have just liked it on herself. I don't know. I thought the haircut
Maybe.
was for Beetlejuice. I was just wondering.
The consensus on Rotten Tomatoes: a change of venue and more sentimentality and violence can't obscure the fact that Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, is a less inspired facsimile of its predecessor.
So, when I was having this heated discussion with my coworkers, one of them said it's the exact same movie, just in a different spot.
I somewhat agree. I also disagree.
Okay,
I think
go
the
on.
second half of the movie is the same movie, where for some reason Kevin is protecting the toy store for some nebulous
Because he's a child
guilt
and they
reason.
like toys.
Sure.
That's all I can think of.
I think that the first half of the movie of him actually being lost in New York is different because it's like, sure, the bones are the same. A child is alone, but
I don't know why that made me laugh. It just did.
it's different in that the first one, it's like, oh, how's he going to survive being home alone? He's at home. He's around. Instead of him being in a place that's familiar and suddenly becoming unfamiliar, he's in an unfamiliar place that feels familiar because he's been alone before.
Yeah, like, I feel like the stakes aren't as high because, like, the first movie, I'm like, oh my god, how scary they left their kid. The second movie, I'm like, the stakes aren't as high because he's done this before. He's not as scared, and also the parents, irresponsible.
Well, also the parents, they're in Florida this time. They're not in Paris.
Also, I've been to Miami, and the police officer in the movie had such a thick Southern accent. Nobody in Miami that I talked to had a thick Southern accent like that. That's just me, though.
Miami is far enough south to be more south than Southern accents like that.
Yeah, negate the Southern accent.
Also, I think that looking at it now, we both grew up with the idea, or at least I did, New York City, Manhattan, is incredibly safe of an area.
You grew up with that idea?
Yes. But that's also statistically true.
Oh, good for
Manhattan
them. No, I was under the impression that it was crime on every corner. Sorry, New York. That's
well,
just,
I mean, that
you know,
it was that in the 70s and 80s.
the 80s were rough for New York.
Yes. And then this was 1992, so it was like, ooh, this was the middle of the Giuliani, actually this was just the beginning, right before the beginning of Rudy Giuliani becoming mayor, who allegedly, in the biggest quotes possible, cleaned up the city. But it was happening anyway because of economic reasons. So it was getting to where it is today. So I was thinking, Lost in New York, that's not that scary. Whatever, you'll be fine.
I mean,
also,
you know, this was an era where I feel like, and in New York specifically, I feel like there's cops everywhere in the touristy areas, which is where Kevin was for the most part. And
and that,
feel like
I mean,
in real
that's
life,
a kind of a post 9/11
cops
thing.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in big cities like that. But I feel like he's in a touristy place. He could just walk up to a cop and be like, "Hey, don't know where my parents are," and they would have helped him because they're gonna help a child. Whereas if an adult walks up and says, "I don't know where my parents are," they're gonna be like, they'll turn up. So.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because I was just in New York and I was like, man, I could lick the pavement here. It's
okay.
It's not clean. I would get sick, but I could lick it.
Because I haven't been to New York since I was in high school, so can't speak to that.
Is this the first time that you watched this?
This one, yes.
Okay.
But I've seen bits of it because I was watching things and I was like, oh, that looks familiar. Oh, that looks familiar. But I think it was like from memes and stuff.
Yeah. And I think the shot of Marv with his hands getting electrocuted and then his skeleton with the hair, that has been memed to life. Not death.
Absolutely.
Because he's still alive. I've definitely seen this again a dozen times. Any major Christmas movie that came out in the 90s, of course I've seen it.
So is Gage. Excuse me. He actually couldn't remember the name of the bandits in the first movie. He thought it was Sticky Bandits, which is in this movie.
Fucking idiot. Blow that nose.
Oh wait, I thought I
it.
muted.
It's not going to be on the record. You did not mute yourself to blow your nose.
Oh my god, that's mortifying. Sorry, Dan. I thought I did.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oops. Well,
yeah, I've seen this
my mute's
a bunch
not
of
working.
times.
It's fine.
I can hear you. Everyone can hear you. You're going to have to either have a snot running down your nose or let the world know that, hey, Anna's not perfect. She blows her nose.
I do. I blow my nose one nostril at a time, just like the rest of the world.
I blow them back.
Oh, God.
I blow up.
Oh!
Yeah, let's get into the movie.
All right.
So, it's Christmas all over again, to quote Tom Petty. And the McAllister family, they're not going to France this year. They're going to Miami.
Wonderful.
Which Kevin says, why would you go to Florida for Christmas? I 100% agree with him.
I semi-do. Because I would just love to be somewhere warm. I mean, you were just remarking before the podcast recording began how freaking cold it is here.
Correct.
My skinny jean wearing stuck in 2016 self had cold ankles all day.
Well, that's what you get for not keeping up with fashion.
Guess you're right.
Do you want to know what's in? Leggings are in.
I can't wear leggings to work. Why? Oh my god, I almost called you my cube mate's name. Dan, I cannot wear leggings to work. This is because we were having a conversation about how I was cold today at my desk, and he was all bundled up, and he's like, it's so warm in here, and I was like, it's literally not. I'm frozen.
I'm on his side. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants right now. I am
Bundling
cozy.
up is for schmucks.
Well, I live in a tropical climate now, a Mediterranean climate. So me getting these 2 weeks of winter, it's like, oh, beautiful. What a nice change of pace. I get to wear my sweaters. I don't get to do that in LA.
I had a sweater on earlier this week, but then I was going to an office and some of my sweaters need to be, de-pilled. So I was wearing a dress shirt. And I was looking on everyone else wearing a sweater, being like, what's it like to be warm?
Yeah.
I was bundled up at my desk, being bullied because I had my heating pad on and I had a blanket on and I was still cold. It's fine.
So, Kevin, they have a Christmas pageant, and Kevin and his brother Buzz are singing, and then
Buzz should have got his booty beat, honestly. I
don't understand why the crowd felt that was so hilarious, Buzz putting the candles behind Kevin's ear. I didn't even realize it.
I would have been mad. If I was the teacher, if I was a parent, if I was anyone's parent, I would have been like, that kid needs to be grounded. Take everything away from him. Take his what did he have in his trunk last time? Take the whole trunk away, because that's where all his treasures are. That's what I would do. They don't have video games or anything, it looked like, so if they have a GameCube or something, take it away.
Yes.
Anna's parenting
Buzz.
corner.
Well, I don't think they would have a GameCube in 1992.
I couldn't think of what was out back then.
I mean, considering of how wealthy they are, a Super Nintendo.
Okay, take the Super Nintendo away. Because
that just
honestly,
hurt me in my soul.
It made me so mad how he was getting. Kevin was in trouble for everything, but Buzz was the one who was being naughty at the concert during his. Dan, I went on a rant. I literally parenting corner. This is what I have to say for my sons, Buzz and Kevin. Oh, I was so mad.
Well, also, the crowd started laughing before we saw what Buzz was doing while Kevin was singing his solo. I thought it was like, oh, why are they laughing? Kevin's solo is fine. He sounds like a child singing a Christmas solo. And then it's just Buzz holding up fake candlesticks behind his head.
Stupid.
Also, the crowd is sitting so far back, you couldn't tell anything.
No, they were
unrealistic.
Just being stupid.
Took me out of the movie.
I said it once, I'll say it again. If I was the teacher and I saw that, I would have been mad. There would have been daggers coming out of my eyes at that child from I'm conducting. It would have been eyes that said, I'm talking to your mother after this.
Yeah, Buzz would have been shot on sight from the arrows shooting directly from your face.
Oh, you should see me if the kids at the box are acting naughty. That's where I do my plays.
I figured I got that from Context
I love it
Clues.
there.
From The Box?
Yeah.
Shout out to Roddy
Shout
Rich.
out. Oh.
I know like 3 songs from the past few years, and that's one of them. You've heard it, I assume.
I don't think I have.
I'm not gonna rap it for you.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Good. So Buzz apologizes to Kevin, and it's the most bullshit apology you've ever heard in your life.
It's so... I was mad. Dan, once again, my inner mother was coming out. I was so annoyed. I was like, this child needs his Super Nintendo taken away, or whatever the frick. Is that what it was called?
However, Super Nintendo.
Thank God.
His outer mother accepts it for some reason. It's a horrible
Catherine,
apology.
She's exasperated. She's like, forget it, it's fine. I'm sick of all these children that I chose to have.
Yeah, all 8 of them. Kevin refuses to accept it. He gets sent to the attic again. And like, uh-oh, is it going to happen again? Because they wake up, their clocks got reset again. How does this keep happening?
When they jump in front of the bed and scream into the camera, I was like, this is so cheese.
It's very cheap. I love it. I like that. Take advantage of it. You're on a filmed medium. You can do it.
Okay, it was camp. I'll give it to them.
So they rush to the airport. Kevin is with them. He was sitting in the front seat. He also has it's not a speak and spell, but it's like an annoying voice recorder that a child would have.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It was, like you said, just a voice recorder.
It's a tape recorder. Mm-hmm. You can use it to spy on the president. So he gets separated from them in the airport because he needed to put batteries in it as they were going through the terminal.
No, I would have said, Kevin, keep that in your bag, no toys until we get on the plane. Mm-hmm. Anna's mothering school.
I'm going to quote the title of a television program. Mm-hmm. Kevin can wait.
Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So he gets separated from the family. They all get on their flight. Kevin bumps into the stewardess on the flight that he thinks that he's getting on. Knocks his ticket around. Oh, the pre-9/11 airport. We're in a different world.
This was like a fever dream because it was never been this easy. Well, it was once, but I don't remember how easy it was to get on planes before 9/11.
Yeah. Totally different world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I see my dad. He's right there. And they go, okay, find an empty seat.
That had me stressed out because imagine you're sitting oh my God, I'm apparently anti-child today, which is not true. I'm not anti-child, I swear to God. Imagine you're minding your
Anna's
business.
very pro-child. She loves children, as I was trying to establish with Tom Holland earlier.
Dan, I'm so sick of you. Anyway, imagine you're sitting there reading your book, waiting for the plane to take off, and some random kid sits next to you.
And then he starts talking to you, and you're French.
Oui. No, that is simply not the vibe for me. Because then I'd feel like I'd have to take care of that kid the whole time. And I know I wouldn't have to, but like if they want to talk to somebody, you're like, what are you reading? Do you have games on your phone? Oh my goodness, please. Listen, I like kids if they're like, theater kids.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, everyone.
I like my children theatrical and questionably homosexual. That's all I want.
Dad!
Not for me, for you. I was imbibing myself.
Ooh,
in
good
your
word.
Spirit. Thank you. Did you just drop a bag of chips? What was that?
No, I'm playing with these paintbrushes that are on this desk, and I did knock a whole bunch of them over. It's fine.
Incredible. So Kevin lands, and he asks the person working the gate, what city is that over there? I would have smacked him. He's in New York City.
If there's no palm trees, you're not in Miami, bud.
So he decides to tour around New York that day.
New York!
He goes to Central Park. He gets scared by a woman covered in pigeons.
I mean, honestly, that's a little scary. Pigeons are mean.
Pigeons are great.
No, they're scary. They're like... I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I read that pigeons were like brought to America and domesticated, and then we just decided we were done with them. and then they just
Yeah.
were out in the world, like, laying eggs, and that's why there's so many
Yes.
of them in cities now.
Yeah.
That's
So we deserve
crazy.
whatever we get with pigeons.
Are
We've
pigeons an
abandoned them.
invasive species?
Yes.
Oh, God. I just thought they were part of, like, America's lore.
Pigeons are actually only natural to Guam.
Is that true?
No.
Oh, I believed you.
Of
Oh my
course
God.
not. Of course I'm just making this up.
Oh my God, I believed you.
So Kevin checks into the Plaza Hotel with his dad's credit card.
Amazing. Daddy's money,
Love committing
amazing
fraud.
choice.
There's
What'd you
a
say?
theory. I love committing fraud. There's a theory that Kevin's dad was in the mob, which is why he doesn't.
Ooh.
Kevin doesn't trust police, and why he has all this money. I don't think that's the case. I think he's just rich.
I think he's just a rich, naughty child
Yeah,
who gets forgotten and left for the sake of a movie.
yeah. Also, didn't mention this earlier. The Wet Bandits, they've escaped. They escaped prison during a riot.
Crazy, because they're the last people I would think would escape prison because they're so clumsy, but what do I know?
Right? Maybe they're just weak. Maybe their weakness is children. They get buffed
Maybe.
when they're around kids. Anyway,
Lord.
it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Just kidding. This takes place entirely on Manhattan. Kevin visits a toy store owned by Mr. Duncan, a very nice elderly old man who's going to
Crazy
donate.
that, like, FAO Schwartz didn't get their claws into this or something.
Right? FAO Schwartz was in Big, and Big came out in 1987, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1988.
I love Big.
So, I'm shocked that FAO Schwartz wasn't in it either.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a perfect FAO Schwartz.
Amen.
I don't know. The budget was only, what? $28 million? They couldn't throw any of that towards the toy
Pennies.
store.
You're right. Pennies.
So, Kevin makes a donation, and Mr. Duncan gives him a pair of ceramic turtle doves. And he says, "You have to give another one to another person as a gesture of eternal friendship."
That's, like, for real not something a child wants.
No. Give him a lightsaber.
A sticker. Give him a frickin' sticker. He'll be over the moon. You kidding me?
Give him a bouncy ball. Do you know how excited I would have been to get a bouncy ball as a kid?
Yeah. Or, like, I don't know. What are things that I liked? I loved stickers, so I'm kind of lost after stickers. So, I still love stickers.
I also skipped over the fact that when Kevin is in the hotel room, he orders a bunch of food, and Rob Schneider is his room attendant, and Tim Curry
His
works
hair
the
is so
hotel.
tall in this movie.
Yeah. And he watches another movie that they made that he records the dialogue for to then respond to people. I don't know. Kevin does what a 12-year-old with daddy's money does in a hotel.
Orders ice cream. That's what I
Yeah.
would do with my own money.
This wouldn't work if Kevin was like 3 years older.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be cute anymore. This
No.
all hinges on cuteness.
Yeah. And that's the issue with like Richie Rich. Macaulay Culkin grew out of playing precocious young people. He was a
Yeah.
teenager at that point.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
man, for some reason I just thought of My Girl, and I think I'm gonna go cry after this, since we're talking about
Never
his
seen it.
filmography. Oh, don't watch it, you'll cry.
I don't
That
think
was
I will,
very
but
grandma. I think you will, but go watch it.
will I?
Maybe not you, like, externally, but internally, you'll be sad.
Okay. The Wet Bandits they're in New York. Why? The plot depends on it.
Oh, Lord.
So they chase after him when they see him. Marv talks about how they're going to rob the toy store. And then
Which is
Kevin
so
tricks...
random. Of all the things to rob, why a toy store that's going out of freaking business?
Right? They were trying to think of what places would have a lot of cash on Christmas.
True.
I don't know. Any other store?
Yeah. A restaurant, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dumb.
He tricks a woman on the street into punching them to escape.
Class.
Good for him. So then, when they were in Miami, the McAllisters, they go to the police department. They talk to the cop with the southern accent. Eventually, they track the credit card. They track the credit card to New York. And then Kevin goes back to the hotel where Tim Curry smells something wrong. So then...
Oh my god.
The whole hotel staff try to chase him out. And then they go into the hotel room and Kevin does his tape trick again. And yada, yada, yada. It's weird that they're trying to chase him out.
It's weird that they fall for the tape trick.
Yeah. Why do they get on their knees? There's somebody in the other room. They could just leave.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Kevin then goes to his uncle's house in an Upper West Side townhouse. This whole family is rich. Are you kidding me?
And they're not even there. They're in Paris, right?
Yeah.
God, I was like...
These people are wealthy.
Oh, yeah. Must be nice, honestly.
Like, do you know how much an Upper West Side townhouse is?
Probably millions
Even
of dollars.
Even then it was millions of dollars.
Yeah. New York is
That's
not
where the
for
Roosevelts
the
lived.
Yeah. New York is not for the people who want affordable housing, okay?
No. Well, Manhattan isn't. You can live in Queens. So, the townhouse is under renovations. So then Kevin's like, okay, guess I'll just go to Central Park.
It looks like a ghost house.
It does. Like, there's holes in the floor.
I know, I was like, this place looks like it was ransacked. But I guess it's the holidays, so everybody's taking a break.
How long have these people been gone? Because if that was the state they left their house in when they went to Paris, I think they were living in a condemned home.
Literally shambles.
Yeah.
I was concerned
so he
for their
goes.
safety.
He goes into Central Park and he connects with the bird lady, the pigeon lady. She goes to Carnegie Hall with them, and they have a nice little conversation and chat about forgiveness underneath the stage.
Does she work there, or does she just, like, is she like the Phantom of the Opera?
I think she's like the Phantom of the Opera, because they don't go in a regular entrance, I don't think.
That's what I thought, but I was like, maybe that's her work entrance. I was like, she's giving Quasimodo Phantom of the Opera vibes.
Yeah, she's actually just the sound engineer. And that's
literally.
She dresses totally professionally on her days on.
Yes. She's like, these are just my comfort clothes.
In her confession, she's like, her life collapsed because her husband fell out of love with her, and then she hasn't spoken to anyone in years. And I'm like, go buy a sandwich. They'll ask you questions.
I don't know. The fact that her life fell to shambles because her husband broke up with her, that'd be a horrible plot line in 2023. That ish would not fly.
That is not a strong, independent woman.
And I know she is one. Deep down.
Well, I don't know. She's pretty dependent on these birds.
Well, dependent on birds is different than dependent on a man, you know? I love birds.
Birds are useful.
Amen.
Whatever.
Amen.
So he's like, I did something bad. And she's like, if you do a good deed, it will make up for your misdeeds.
That's literally
so he's like,
not
okay.
how that works, but okay.
And like deeds done on Christmas are worth double.
No.
Great. So instead of being like, I'm gonna go pick up some trash, or I'm gonna go give some money to a homeless guy, he's like, okay, I'm gonna murder 2 people.
It'd be like that, I guess.
And then I don't want to go through all of this next part. Whatever. It's the Home Alone part.
Mm-hmm. The hijinks, one might say.
Hijinks ensue.
Yes.
Whatever. The pigeon lady throws birdseed on the sticky bandits now.
That's such a mood. Honestly, that would be my only defense, too.
Yeah. And then Kevin runs. He leaves evidence. Gets all the donation money. And then the McAllister family, they get to New York. They find Kevin making a wish at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
Classic.
So then, Christmas morning, they wake up. They're not expecting much, but they get a truckload of free gifts from Mr. Duncan for foiling the robbery.
Classic again. And then Buzz makes that whole stupid speech.
Yeah.
I don't like
I don't
Buzz.
get it.
He's mean and he has a square head. Just
He
saying.
does. He looks like a stereotype of a football player from the 90s.
Yes. Back to bullying children.
Yeah, so he gives the turtle dove to the pigeon lady, and then Peter yells at him from the hotel room half a mile away, because he's in Central Park, because he rang up a $967 room service bill.
Which, honestly, for everything he got, kind of not bad, right? Like,
I thought it would be more.
It would be like $2,000 in 2023. Don't you think? Something crazy?
According to the inflation calculator, $2,100.
Oh, slay! I got it.
Look at
You
you.
got it, everyone.
Slay
Math.
indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That math is mathin'.
It is. For once, the girl math is mathing.
And that's Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
See, I just think I liked it better because it had more, like, actors that I liked.
Okay.
In true Anna Otto fashion. I also just liked his little, like, it didn't seem as stressed out this time. The last one was
That's true.
so
He wasn't.
stressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that he was so scared last time, even though he was at home. Like, when you're at the plaza, you're around other people. Maybe they're not people you know, but, like, it's a safe place to be. Not that his house isn't, but, like, there's people around in case of emergency is what I'm getting at. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. There is comfort in a large group.
Yes.
Even if
safety
you don't
in
know
numbers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the saying. That's the actual phrase. I just like doing it in more words.
Okay.
And it's more confusing.
I wasn't sure if you just forgot what the phrase was, so I was trying to help.
I did. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
I think the first half of this movie, like I said, of him going around New York, exploring, getting lost, his whole ordeal at night in Central Park.
Oh, yeah. That felt a
like
little...
getting scared by the world.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
It
like,
felt very 90s.
It did. It felt very 90s. Yeah. Also wouldn't fly in today's world if I do say so, you know.
Yeah. But I think that part of the movie was interesting. I think that the cartoon hijinks part, the whole Wet Bandit part, it added nothing. It felt like filler that they needed to do because they're like, oh, we need to bring him back. That's what people loved about the first movie. No, just show me him lost in New York. And like using, he has ingenuity from making all these booby traps. Show me him using that to do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
You're just staring wistfully into the distance.
I'm thinking about the fact that, like, it feels like this is like a not again for the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's only the second movie and it feels overdone to me.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
I mean, it definitely feels like a cash grab sort of thing. It doesn't seem like a script, movie, anything that anyone put their passion into.
No. And there's definitely, like we were saying, like, there's just some parts that I'm like, oh, okay, this is dated.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
Even the John Williams score. Nothing really memorable from it this time.
Pardon me?
He
still had that.
Nothing stand out. That's from the first movie.
He did it again this movie. Just one
Yeah,
time.
but there's nothing new stand out.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's what I was saying. The whole movie's a retread.
Got it. It wasn't like how there's specific themes from each Star Wars movie. Got it.
Yeah. And it's a retread, but you replace the comfort, the joy, the love of the Chicagoland area with the biting indifference of New York City.
You're right. That's how I feel. When I'm in Chicago, everyone's like, hello. And when I'm in New York, everybody's like, hey. So.
But not like, hey, how you doing? Like, hey, stop looking up. I'm walking. You're in my way. I'm going to truck you.
Yes.
One thing New York does really well, though, crossing the street. People in New York know how to cross the street.
I'm walking here. Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
Did you see the episode where their neighbor is running for office?
Uh-huh.
And he's trying to get the LGBT vote?
I don't think so.
Hey, I'm being gay over here. He makes shirts that say that. Gage and I say that all the time.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's all I could think of.
Trivia about Home Alone 2. So people say that Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. People remember that as a quote from the first movie.
Yeah.
It's a quote from this movie.
Yes, it is, and I remarked upon that. I said, wow, that's not from the first movie. And Gage said, good job.
All of the exterior stuff in New York was shot in New York, but all of the scenes with Kevin's family in Florida were shot in California. All of the scenes in... Sure. Probably.
Oh. Okay.
Same thing with the toy store. That was in Chicago. And then the house was a set built in Universal Studios.
Got it. Thank you.
The Johnny Mathis version of It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas got a boost in popularity from its use in this movie.
I love when that happens for songs.
Mm-hmm.
Or, from TV shows or movies.
Between 2001 and 2021, most channels cut out the scene where Kevin visits the World Trade Center's observation deck.
Interesting. I mean, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. I also feel like it shouldn't be cut out. That's just me. It's not like anything bad was happening. It's just a place that used to exist that doesn't anymore, unfortunately.
The only reason that Trump is in the movie is because Chris Columbus wanted to film in the hotel's actual lobby, and Trump owned the building.
Of course he did.
That was the deal they made to get the permissions to record him there. They were like, sure, you can be in it.
I guess.
John Hughes originally wrote the script with Kevin having a gun.
What?
Instead of his voice recorder. His thing that he would be playing with just a gun.
No, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
No, the voice recorder makes more sense. In a lot of ways.
Yes.
If he'd had a gun, I would have really said his parents were neglectful.
Right? Mm-hmm. Kevin McAllister. Death Wish.
Literally.
John Candy was supposed to have a cameo in the movie, but because he barely got paid for the first one, he did not come back.
Honestly fair. Get your bag, King.
Yeah. And then the working title for the movie, Alone Again. Naturally.
Me. Alone again. That's so funny. Oh, God.
Anna, would this movie be better or is it the same with Jonathan Taylor Thomas as Kevin McAllister?
I feel like, I think I said this last time, but I feel like it would be the same because he had that precocious energy that Macaulay Culkin also had.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the energy, maybe a little bit meaner than Macaulay Culkin, but I feel like the energy is the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think he would definitely, him doing all the booby trap stuff, I think I would feel worse for the Wet Bandits, because I think he would be too. Mean about it.
He'd be like, heh heh heh. I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That child's evil.
Come down there.
I'm scared.
I don't think Jimmy Stewart could do Tim Curry's role. I think Tim Curry makes it what it is.
Tim Curry's a king. I mean...
Yeah.
What can I say?
Tim Curry and rice.
Did you ever watch the Beauty and the Beast Christmas movie when you were little?
No,
With Tim
of
Curry?
course not.
Oh, I figured not, but thought I'd ask. Because Tim Curry's in that. He plays this evil organ, and I know everybody thinks of Nigel Thornberry when they hear his voice, but that's what I think of. The evil organ. His name is
Yeah, that's very
Forte.
specific to you.
I think his name's Forte.
Forte? Not Fortissimo?
No, it's some sort of...
Or is that his little harpsichord buddy is named Fortissimo?
No, he has no friends. He's mean in that movie.
You know that most people have an evil organ?
Mine's my heart.
Oh. I was going to say the appendix.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just there, and then it's like, I'm going to kill you. Or try to.
Oh my god. Yeah. My coworker said that her dad, his appendix burst, and it caused him to go colorblind.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. That's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
New
She was
fear.
telling us that the other day. Yep. Sorry, everyone.
On a scale of 1 to 5 bursting appendixes, what do you give this movie?
3.5. I liked it better than the last one, but it's still not my favorite Christmas movie, and it's still kind of cheesy, corny.
Yeah. I want cheesy and corny in my Christmas movies, though. Not Hallmark
but-
levels, but like,
I can... Oh, that's a
Sincerity.
-5 always.
yeah.
Well,
Like,
like, what about
absurd
Elf?
levels of sincerity.
Yeah.
Elf is sincere. Buddy's sincere.
I like Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're not talking about Elf. Ever.
I know. I'm just saying.
I give it 2.5.
Okay. Okay, fair.
It's okay. It is. It be what it be. It is what it is. It do what it do.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it for our Home Alone series. We're not talking about the rest of them because
No. They're trash.
they're bad.
Most people don't even consider them to be a part of it, right?
No, they're spin-offs. They're like The Sandlot 2. Or The Lion King 1.5.
Stop. Okay, pause. I will not have you slandering that film. Loved Lion King.
Haven't seen You were there when I watched The Lion King for the first time.
We might have to watch Lion King 1.5, and 2. Might be on the agenda, Dan.
Well, that's not what we're watching next, because next we're doing Mannequin. Mannequin and Mannequin 2 will be our next
Ooh.
duology per the request of my wife. So she just wants an
My
excuse to
lord.
watch the movies.
Honestly, fair. Good for her.
Yeah.
I've done that several
So,
times.
In the new year, look out for that. That's when we will start talking about Mannequin, the movie that's really going to bump our numbers up. If you want to find us on social media, we're on Facebook and Twitter @and in conclusion, on Instagram @in conclusion podcast, patreon.com/in conclusion. I'm on Twitter @DanO'Keefe86 and on TikTok @NotDanO'Keefe. Anna, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at AutomusPrime818, or you can find me on Twitter at AutobotsRollOut, capital O for Auto, capital B for Bots, capital R for Roll, and the O in Roll, and the O in Out are zeros. By Twitter, I mean X. It's all the same. Because if you put in
Gross.
Twitter.com, it'll still show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling it other letters. Follow me on B.
Literally was so nervous when it changed to X. I literally went to my IT department and was like, I'm not looking up porn, I swear to God. And they were like, we're not living under a rock. And I was like, I was just so scared.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's me.
So we will be back with Mannequin. In the meantime, everybody, don't go to your IT department and tell them that you're not looking up porn, because that's not confusing or suspicious at all.
They know how I am.
Stay safe, have fun, and Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas! Ho ho ho! Heck yeah! I was just a chatty Cathy. I felt like I had a lot to say to you.